So, in the Twilight movies, as we all know, Robert Pattinson plays a blood-sucking vampire. Now, there are those who might say his character in Cosmopolis, a billionaire Wall Street trader, not that different.
There's a poem I read in which a rat becomes the unit of currency.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would impact the world economy.
But Cosmopolis is a very different film from Twilight, and it gives Robert the chance to unleash a different kind of dark stuff on screen. Stuff we haven't seen before in that Twilight saga, which, as we all know, one of the top-grossing franchises ever, and it made him an international star. Nor did you see it in the fourth Harry Potter movie, which, despite its enormous success, it didn't lead to bigger things for Robert right away. So he was just in LA, going to auditions and playing music, guitar and piano, when he landed the role that changed his life big time.
I've never wanted a human's blood so much in my life.
But now that the end is nigh for Twilight, what will the next act for Robert look like? With Cosmopolis, he's thrown himself down some pretty deep chasms.
We know what the anarchists have always said.
The urge to destroy is a creative urge.
Cronenberg clearly liked what he saw.
You want to get to the edges of what you can do, and certainly this is a very edgy Rob Pattinson we see in this movie.
Sex.
Yes.
He cast Robert in an upcoming film as well, and calls him a profound actor. Please welcome Robert Pattinson.
How you doing?
Howdy, sir.
Hey. How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm all a bit discombobulated for some reason. I hate coming on after David. I know everyone's watching in the green room as well. It's making me nervous.
Why, because he knows what he's doing up here?
Yeah, literally. He seems all smooth and stuff. He's like, you're not supposed to be an actor. Makes sense.
David was mentioning that you were, post-Twilight franchise, you're trying to go down different roads. Is this legitimately part of your planning?
This was not part of the plan at all. I thought I was totally oversaturated everywhere. I wanted to do little tiny parts, or maybe no parts at all. I got this 3 weeks before I was finishing the last Twilight movie, and I was really, really determined to find ensemble pieces or anything small, just so I didn't have to be in everybody's face and annoying everyone. And then this thing came up, and yeah, it's almost like a obnoxiously present Eric is in every single second of it, and incessantly speaking. It's I think it was a pretty difficult thing to turn down.
Is this a new experience for you though, to watch a film back and go, oh wait a minute, how do I promote this movie?
Oh, completely. I mean, it reminded me that there was this thing that I watched this interview with Ryan Gosling once, and he said about when he did The Believer, like a few years ago, and then people were saying, because he'd done Young Hercules for like 3 or 4 seasons or something, and then he did The Believer, and everybody's asking about his craft, and like it's the most confusing thing. I was in Cannes doing these interviews. I mean, I was really fighting to not look pretentious for years, and then someone gives you 1 inch of like kind of the possibility of being pretentious, and I was like grabbing it so hard and just going around being the biggest douchebag. But yeah, and now I've reined it in again.
If you think too, being in a Harry Potter movie, you think your career is going to hit, right? That's the thing, and it didn't hit right away after that. In that moment, did you think, I'm on it, like here goes my career?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really intend to be an actor. I mean, I kind of got that by, I got this film called Vanity Fair, which I got cut from, and spent a little while telling everybody, like, oh, I've got this big part, I'm playing Reese Witherspoon's son. Just before everyone found out that I was cut from it.
Here, let's play that scene. Here's the scene.
Oh, no way.
Can I help you?
Okay.
I'm not sure you'll want to when you learn who I am.
I know who you are. Why have you come?
To see my son.
There's your moment, bud.
Star-making performance.
But suddenly, Vanity Fair's DVD sales through the roof, or on Netflix
really?
now that they see that you're in there.
I threw up immediately after that moment. That was the most nervous. Yeah, I mean, but I kind of got, the casting director was the same casting director for Harry Potter, and then I got invited to the premiere of that, and they didn't tell me I was cut out, so I was kind of sitting there. And so the casting director felt so guilty, she brought me in for the Harry Potter role.
And that's what got Hardwick's attention for Twilight, right?
What did Catherine see? I don't know. Catherine called me up when I was in London, and I hadn't read the script or read the book, and she started talking to me, going like, yeah, so what do you think? And I think it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, And I was going, oh man, he's just an animal. He's an animal. Like, I hadn't even read it. I was just like, he's a sex machine. It's crazy. And I think Catherine liked that. But I don't know what I was talking about.
What do you make of everything that's happened, though? Because it's become, I mean, there was a time when there were a lot of huge stars, but you have a different kind of mania around you that I haven't seen in a long time. What's it like on the inside?
It's, I don't know. I mean, you're completely disconnected from your kind of doppelganger, I think. I mean, I just don't think I'm confident enough to really claim, because you can really, if you really claim it, you can have like, obscene power over people. But yeah, then you have to, it does come with a kind of responsibility. So I've just tried to avoid the responsibility of it completely and just say, like, oh yeah, that guy, he's another guy. like, I can do what I want still.
The one thing that I imagine you're dealing with is, aside from your close circle of friends, actual humanity, actual human conversations, the connection that we all crave as a person is harder and harder for you to find, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just remember, I think I was pretty similar before. I mean, I'd be like one of those people who's desperate to go to a party, but then they go to the party and then they just stand in the corner with the people they came with and refuse to acknowledge that anyone else is there. Yeah, so I don't know, I don't really miss anything. And also, you kind of, you think, you have all these kind of fantasies that, oh, if I wasn't famous, I'd meet all these random people in the street all the time. But you don't meet random people in the street. I mean, most of the time you're trying to avoid everybody, even if you're not famous.
I'm going to play a clip here. I want to see, tell me what you think of this singer-songwriter and give you an update of what's happening.
That's so cool, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know when people talk to her, they ask her about you, but I'm curious about her as a performer. Did you co-write that song? Did you help her write that song? That's what I heard. The rumor was that you were part of the writing of some of her music with her.
Yeah, kind of. Like, I did very, very little, though. Just kind of, I think I just played guitar. But I've written some other stuff with her, though. We had the craziest differing opinion on pop music. Like, it's ridiculous. Because I want to get lost every single time. And she's one of the people who, when they go to a concert, they want to hear it like it is on the CD.
Right.
And I'm the opposite. So like, we get into huge arguments the whole time.
You want to become a jazz on? Is that what you wanted to turn into?
Literally, I had this argument with Adele, which is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever said. I was like, you can really just reach for it. And she's just like, well, you do realize I'm like the biggest selling female artist ever. And I just for some reason decided to get her into an argument with her about it. But
how does that happen? 2 o'clock in the morning somewhere, and you're let's have
and
that's
then
amazing.
waking up kind of really, really regretting every word I said.
Has anybody come up to you though and said at 2 in the morning, listen, you could have this kind of career if you just did this?
No. They're just like, people. I think people are sort of consistently surprised at the fact that I'm still around. It's a fluke.
Do you think much about the fact though that when this franchise goes away, that you need that second act of your career? Do you think about that?
I mean, the only thing I ever thought about was thinking, I don't want anyone to think that I somehow got trapped by something, And I don't know if anyone really does, the general public, about Twilight and everything. But, I mean, the amount of times you get asked, like, oh, are you worried about getting typecast, blah, blah. I'm just worried about people saying, like, what happened to that guy? Like, I mean, and also, you think you want to do something at least a little bit worthwhile with what kind of power you've been given through luck. And not just chase after, not just keep trying to extend the same thing for as long as possible. I'm not very scared of it going away at all. So I don't know. I mean, if I could somehow maintain a career which I could keep making movies like Cosmopolis, then I think it'd be amazing because not very many of them are made.
No,
so.
it's also timely. Like, you get to play with a character that most people don't get to play with. You get to act in a great scene with Paul Giamatti. Like, that scene is a 20-minute scene, man. It's a pretty intense moment. Like, that sort of stuff, actors don't get that opportunity too often.
No, not at all. I was saying earlier, this is like, if I read the script and David wasn't attached to it, this is the kind of script which you'd read and think like, wow, this is amazing, but this is never going to get made, ever. Because everything like that is never made. You see anything which is slightly different, you know it's never going to get made. You know, I always thought after The Dark Knight, for instance, like, it makes tons and tons of money, and Heath's doing something which is just, like, it's outside. It's still perfectly, like, people understand what he's doing. It's not like he's doing something totally crazy.
Right.
But it's slightly outside the box of what people are usually used to seeing. And I really thought that was going to change everything about how big budget movies are made. But it didn't. No. Like, and so, I don't know, if every single actor wasn't afraid of trying to do, you know, something slightly abstract and you know, not concerned about their movie making tons and tons of money, then eventually the industry would change.
But I mean, you and other guys in your position, can you make these kinds of films then? And not just as actors?
I think you can once. I don't know how many other times. I'm desperately trying to get a superhero movie now.
Are you really? That would be amazing. Well, congratulations on Cosmopolis. It's a hell of a performance, man.
Well, thanks a lot.
Really good to see you. Robert Pattinson,
Nice to
everybody.
see you.
Thank you, man. Stick around. Paul Giamatti's next. We'll be right back. Background action.
I've had numerous scripts.
It's back here. We're just about out of time in the program. Kevin Durant has joined us as well. He was just recently on the show. Cosmopolis, you can watch it all. It's going to be in the theaters tomorrow. What's the rap party scenario like for this group here?
We haven't had it yet.
Not yet?
Yeah, no.
Is that tonight?
I don't. Paul, your place?
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's the one most likely to get on the table and dance? Because my money's on him.
Yeah, I think.
Maybe.
You know, I think.
This one.
That'd be you?
Probably.
First
right
one.
there.
I'll bring the 2-4.
Spoken like the
Boy
guy.
from Thunderbank.
Exactly. You bring the sleeping giant. It was really good to have you guys on the show. Thank you very much for being a part of it. Check it out. It's in the theaters tomorrow, everybody. It's Cronenberg. It's Gadden. It's Giamatti. It's Pattinson. It's Kevin Durant. Strava.com's the website. Good things.